You're in.
Okay. Ken's also going to do the short presentation tonight. I'll give you a few facts. This is your first time seeing him. He's been a longtime member since the late 70s.
Yep.
Past president and vice president. He enjoys solar eclipses, giving historical accounts of older astronomers in his presentations here. And he does the current in the news, as you've just seen. In 2001, he was awarded the E. John Searles Award, and in 2013, he was presented with a lifetime membership in the Warren Astronomy Society. Take it away.
Right. I am actually the lead of this, but actually I have two partners in this event tonight. We have Bob Tremblay and we have Bob Bertin. And we are going to give 5 reports of the top news stories of 2015 in our estimation. It so happens that this year, this last year, the big stories really were about planetary stuff, actually, as opposed to anything that really hit us as outside of the planetary realm. Next year, obviously, the lead story will probably be the gravity waves, which is, of course, another thing entirely. But small stories, a couple of small, quick ones is the Messenger was crashed into Mercury earlier this year. That's not a major story. But we do have 5 really good stories, and the lead-off person of this group will be our very own Bob Tremblay. He will give one on the Ceres and Dawn and on the P67 and Rosetta. And with that, I'm going to just change my scope here, and we'll get right to start with that one right there. And you're on your way. You know, all you've got to do is touch that and move on to your next section.
Okay, the Dawn mission was launched in 2007, and it got a gravity assist by Mars in 2009. It approached Vesta, the asteroid Vesta in the asteroid belt, in 2011 and orbited it for a year. After spending a year in orbit of Vesta, Dawn left Vesta and made its way to dwarf planet Ceres. Before the Dawn mission arrived at Ceres, though, the Herschel Space Telescope discovered that Ceres was venting water vapor into space. There was a problem with the Dawn mission. It probably got hit by a cosmic ray, so they actually had to change the orbital insertion. When Dawn went into orbit around Ceres, it became the first spacecraft to orbit 2 bodies in the solar system before having had a flyby. So during approach, one of the most striking features seen on Ceres were the mysterious bright spots. And there was a whole lot of conjecture going on as to what they were, and JPL actually had a worldwide, what do you think this is? And they were asking people, well, you know, there's an ice plume, like a cryovolcano. Some people said it was aliens. Of course, you knew somebody was going to say that. So as Dawn spiraled closer into Ceres, other bright patches became visible on the surface, and most notably that they looked like they were a result of impacts. So it has been since determined that these bright spots are salt deposits formed after an impact exposed briny ice water, or water ice, which then sublimated into space, leaving these bright patches. They're all over the place. So Ceres is the only dwarf planet in the inner solar system. It's thought to have a water ice mantle surrounding a rocky core, and there may be pockets of liquid water beneath its surface, which raises the question of the possibility of habitability for microorganisms. Much like they're thinking about Europa and Enceladus. The Dawn mission, the Dawn spacecraft, is currently orbiting Ceres at a low mapping altitude orbit of 240 miles, closer to the dwarf planet than the International Space Station is to the Earth. It has taken thousands of images of the dwarf planet, and it is collecting right now infrared spectra from locations that are of special interest, and it will soon be taking color and stereo photographs of Ceres. mission is scheduled to end in June of 2006. Unlike many NASA missions, Dawn will not end by impacting into Ceres. It will remain in its current orbit of 240 miles for at least 50 years, so as not to contaminate the world in case they want to search for life. Okay, talking about the Rosetta Mission to Comet 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko. Actually saw a picture of Gerasimenko on Twitter yesterday. So given the immense distances between bodies in the solar system, it can take years for spacecraft to reach their destinations, and the European Space Agency's Rosetta spacecraft took a decade to reach Comet 67P. 3 years of that was in hibernation. This is actually a pretty cool sight. You can see it on the timeline. So Rosetta is the first protracted cometary mission. It rendezvoused with the comet in May of 2014, closed its distance to the comet following this bizarre set of maneuvers, and it finally went into orbit around the comet in September of 2014. In November of 2014, Rosetta released the Philae lander, which made its way slowly down to the surface of the comet. Everything was going well for the most part. The lander descended towards the comet, but unfortunately automated harpoons, which were supposed to prevent the lander from bouncing off the surface, failed to fire. It bounced off the surface twice and came to rest at an odd angle, probably in the shadow of a cliff or a crater. It operated, it did get some pictures. The lander's batteries ran down after 2 days, but the lander still managed to return results from all 10 of its science instruments before entering into hibernation. 16 compounds were identified and divided into 6 classes of organic molecules: alcohols, carbonyls, oh God, I can't even pronounce these things. And 4 of these which had not been detected on a comet before. Exact competition of the detected organic molecules has not yet been announced. According to some recent explanations, the team is still trying to identify precisely which molecules were detected. So expect some more data on that soon. Samples from the comet's coma included water vapor, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, plus small amounts of organic compounds, including formaldehyde. So Rosetta has mapped the comet in ridiculous detail. It has returned an absolutely startling image of the comet, and it is continuing to do so. As the comet neared perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, it became active, and jets and streamers, animated, jets and streamers were seen erupting from all over the surface. So Rosetta is currently on an extended mission, but will soon run out of hydrogen propellant and is losing power as the comet gets further and further away from the sun. Plans are for the spacecraft to draw nearer to the comet and eventually impacting on its surface in September of 2016. And that is the Rosetta mission.
Thank you, Bob. Now we will hear from Bob Bertin, and the first report is of water on Mars. Come on, Bob, you're up. Got your first picture.
Okay, very good. Okay, the big news this year is that on Mars they found some streaks, and those are there. Okay. Those streaks, they say if they had found those on the Earth, it would be proof that there was water, and so they're taking it. In fact, that's what it is. They also used the NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter which is a satellite going around the red planet, and it has a spectrometer on it, and it scans the Martian surface and identifies the chemical makeup of what's down there. From those scans, the team identified hydrated salts within the dark streaks. And the importance of these salts is that they would lower the freezing point of a liquid brine, just as salt on roads here on Earth causes ice and snow to melt more rapidly. And what they found is that this water, it grows longer, the streaks grow longer during the Mars summer months, and it shrinks during the cold seasons. And there's, again, the more we're hearing about these type of things, that water is becoming quite prominent on many places beyond just the Earth. Okay, this is the rover going around. They're getting a lot of pictures. That's the one that took the pictures of the that you saw prior to this. Okay. Now, Enceladus. This is actually my favorite moon. This is a big announcement to me. The Cassini program, Cassini spacecraft began orbiting around Saturn in 2004 and weaving in and out among its many moons. And in 2006, Cassini sent back images to the Earth showing Enceladus was spewing water at geysers. These geysers, they've actually, I believe they've got now counted 101 of them. And they were very interested in finding out what's down there because it appears that there is water. And one of the reasons they think that this is very important there is because they've, through, I guess, what they call the libration. A libration is when something like our moon or a planet doesn't just rotate in a constant, but it actually jiggles back and forth. And to have this libration, the only thing that would explain that is that the outer crust are floating separate from the core. And that must mean there must be an ocean underneath Enceladus' icy surface. And so the big thing now is they want to go there and find out what's in those oceans. Okay. Okay, these are the surface pictures that were taken by the Cassini. What they've done is, I think that was the last one. I already had the two. Pardon? I think that was it. Oh, there it is. Okay. This picture is of the geysers, and like I said, there's now 101 ones that they have found. And this is probably, to me, this is probably one of the coolest announcements in the last year, if not in several years, because this is now proven that there's possibility of not only an ocean down there, but perhaps life there also. So I talked to several people who are back in California that are very much interested in getting there quickly because they think this is going to be a whole new adventure. Okay.
The biggest story of the year was that the New Horizons flew itself to the protoplanet, or Plutoid, as it were, with the New Horizons spacecraft. Nearly the 10-year-long, 3 billion-mile journey through our solar system, New Horizons made its closest approach to Pluto on Tuesday, July 14, 2015, about 7,750 miles above the surface. Pluto was discovered, of course, in 1930 by Leonard Clyde Trumbo using the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, while looking for planet X, theorized to exist beyond the orbit of Neptune. New Horizons journey to the closest post at Pluto took about 1 minute less than predicted when the craft was launched in January of 2006. New Horizons is the fastest spacecraft ever launched, hurtling through Pluto's system at more than 30,000 miles per hour, and a collision with a particle as small as a grain of ice, or a grain of rice rather, would have incapacitated this spacecraft. It will take 16 months for New Horizons to send its information back, and it has confirmed that Pluto is in fact the largest object that we know of in the Kuiper Belt, surpassing where they thought Ceres might be, but it is not. And that's the front and the back of it. And this kind of gives you a quick picture of how the views of Pluto have moved through the years. You can see that the first one, by the way, on there was the one that Clyde Tombaugh took. This is a good image of the near side, and here is a good image of the rear side. This is Charon, its large moon, which is about, let's say, it's taken at about 280,000 miles from the planet. It's got a swath of cliffs across the stretch for 600 miles from left to right. It's a bit smaller than Pluto. It's also very uncratered. These are from July 15th, mountains of to the moon mission. This is the ice plot that was done with the New Horizons Ralph spectral instrument. Revealed an abundance of methane ice, but also showed some nitrogen ice, actually, on the planet. This is on Charon itself, a mountain and a moat, if you want to call it that, on there. These images were taken also in July. These are the closest early views of Hydra Nix and the other moons. This was taken in 22nd of July. There were more ice mountains looked at on the same date at Pluto's heart. A little bit more of these ice mountains at Tombaugh region, Regio actually, the southern part of that image. New Horizons spotted and losing glaciers in the hazy skies on Pluto on the 29th of July. These were the first of the maps taken. This is one of the nicer shots and such. A little bit more of the Tombaugh Regio. These were taken on the 31st. In September, these Pluto images came, September images came of Pluto. Getting even more detailed as we go along. These are also the September shots. This is also that haze that was picked up. These are the newest Charon image from the horizons. This is September the 10th. You can see it's virtually not cratered, so it considers that it probably was very active volcanically very late. These are high-risk Plutos of NASA. They were taken in late September. This is also perhaps an atmosphere.
Looks like haze to me.
What's that?
Looks like haze to me.
Yeah. More September images. There's streams of frozen nitrogen and low-level hazes. These are the October images of Charon. More images still in October. More images still. These are very, very detailed. This was late October. And we're still getting that stuff. We're going to get it for 16 months from the time. This is the Carora. It's one of the other images, the Pluto family portrait. And those are the small moons at their best at this point, along with Charon. And this is a kind of a cool image too. They're kind of spinning around, wildly around the planet.
What is the order of them?
What's it?
What order are they?
What order are they?
Yeah, what's the outermost?
I don't know.
What's the one that's spinning?
The order out for the planet? I don't know that offhand.
Can you go back to that other slide?
Sure, I sure can.
And one of the coolest thing about that is that Pluto and Charon are
Yeah.
tidally locked with each other. The same face of each of the bodies points towards each other.
I believe Caberos is the one on the outside.
Okay.
And Nix is the green one,
Yes.
okay? And
It's a double.
it's the yellow one.
I was looking for a come sail away joke for 6.
Nix is the second largest. Eros is the smallest of the group. They also discovered in November that that Pluto probably has, and this is subsequent information, that it probably has ice volcanoes on it. Better and better as we go along. We even have newer ones that are better than that, but these are the last of the images. And where New Horizons is going? It's going to another asteroid. It's going to go to 2014 MU69, an object in the Kuiper Belt, aiming for a January 1st, 2019 encounter. Any questions? We're done.
Thank you very much, Ken, Bob, and Bob. All right, it is now time for the thing you have been waiting for all evening, snack break. So Dale Teamy brought the snacks tonight. If you have not volunteered for snacks this year, Ken Bertin would be happy to sign you up for next year. And you remember that snack donors are reimbursed. I'd also like to thank